What if the world's greatest hero made one decision that changed everything forever? What if Superman did not fight against an army, but instead killed a single hero? Not a villain hiding behind schemes. Not a monster rising from darkness. An Avenger standing in the light. For years, Superman trusted humanity completely. He believed heroes existed to protect life rather than to judge it harshly. But then he discovered the truth buried beneath everything he thought he knew. Governments were arresting powerful beings in absolute secret, selling them like commodities, sending them to a predator world where heroes were tested ruthlessly, broken systematically, and used like disposable tools. One Avenger knew about all of it. One Avenger helped them justify every terrible decision. He called it necessary for survival. He called it maintaining balance. Superman did not argue with him. He did not offer any warning. He did not hold anything back. When the dust finally settled, an Avenger lay dead at his feet. The entire world froze in collective horror. Heroes panicked across every continent. Governments realized that their deepest fear had finally become reality. Because if Superman could kill one hero without hesitation, who would decide who deserved to live next? Superman was not afraid of the world around him. He had faced gods who commanded universes, monsters that could tear planets apart, and armies that stretched beyond imagination. Fear had never lived inside him before. But as he hovered above Earth that particular night, watching city lights flicker like fragile dying stars, something felt deeply wrong. Not approaching danger, not rising chaos. Silence. The particular kind of silence that hides decisions already made in darkness. For years, he had believed humanity would grow beyond its limitations. That fear would fade naturally as trust slowly replaced it. Every single life he saved, every disaster he stopped cold, every war he prevented from starting, he believed was proof that power could exist without demanding control. That protection did not require permission from anyone. He was completely wrong about everything. It started with simple paperwork buried in classified files. Heroes were disappearing without any battles to explain them. No explosions lighting up the sky. No public trials broadcast for the world. Just quiet arrests carried out under new laws written in language so carefully clean it sounded entirely harmless. Containment protocols, enhanced oversight, global safety measures, words specifically designed to calm people who did not want to look any deeper. Superman looked much deeper than anyone expected. Files hidden behind lead line servers revealed themselves to his vision. Communications encrypted beyond anything human technology should have been capable of producing. Transfers marked as research cooperation leading off-world. Names appeared on his screen one after another. Beings who had fought beside him through impossible odds, bled beside him on countless battlefields, saved entire worlds beside him without hesitation. They were not sitting in any prison. They had been sold like property. Superman landed inside a government facility that did not officially exist on any map. Soldiers raised their weapons immediately, but did not fire a single shot. They never did when facing him. Fear kept their fingers frozen still. He walked past them without touching a single soul. He did not need to use force here. He needed answers that would explain everything. The truth waited patiently in a room filled with people who still pretended they remained in control of the situation. They told him everything calmly, almost kindly, as if explaining something simple to a child. The universe was far more dangerous than Earth understood. Earth itself was young and vulnerable. Heroes attracted unwanted attention from powerful forces. Powerful beings could not be allowed to act without carefully imposed limits. Some of them had to be removed from the equation entirely, not killed outright, used productively, studied thoroughly, tested rigorously, traded for advantages. Predator worlds existed throughout the cosmos. They explained carefully, places where the universe sent what it could not adequately manage. If heroes survived these trials, they proved themselves valuable assets. If they died during testing, the data collected was still considered useful. Superman felt something fundamental twist painfully inside his chest. "Who agreed to this arrangement?" he asked quietly. They exchanged nervous looks with each other. They hesitated before answering. Then one name was spoken aloud. An Avenger. Not a stranger he had never encountered. Not a villain pretending to be noble. A hero the entire world trusted without question. A symbol of sacrifice and dedication. Someone who had stood on countless battlefields and sworn never to become what they fought against. "He helped us design the program," one official said carefully. "He understands balance. He understands that power must be checked even among heroes themselves." Superman left the room without speaking another word. He found the Avenger in a city rebuilt a dozen times over from destruction, standing on a tower, watching the world below like it belonged to him completely. The sky was calm that evening, far too calm for what was coming. "You knew everything," Superman said, landing behind him. The Avenger did not turn around. "I hoped you wouldn't find out this way." "They were sent to die screaming," Superman said. His voice did not shake at all. That steadiness was far worse than anger. "They were sent to be useful to something larger," the Avenger replied evenly. "Some of us are simply too dangerous to exist freely. You more than anyone should understand that truth." Superman stepped closer. "You helped sell them to monsters." "I helped save Earth from what's coming," the Avenger said firmly. "Fear keeps people alive longer. Control keeps world stable." That word echoed between them. Control. Superman looked at him then, really looked beyond the surface, at the calm certainty, at the absolute conviction, at the way he had already decided who mattered enough to save and who did not. "How many heroes?" Superman asked. The Avenger finally turned to face him. "Enough to make a difference." That was the precise moment something broke permanently, not in the world around them. In Superman himself, he saw the future with terrible clarity. Not a dramatic battle, not a heroic war. A slow, quiet system where heroes were measured against standards, ranked by usefulness, and disposed of when they became inconvenient to maintain. A future where justice wore a clean face and called itself necessary for survival. "You crossed a line that cannot be uncrossed," Superman said. The Avenger sighed heavily. "So did you. The day you decided you didn't need permission from anyone." Superman did not argue with him. He simply moved. There was no explosion to mark the moment. No dramatic speech filled with righteousness. No time for regret to change anything. The fight lasted only seconds. The Avenger struck first instinctively, weapons flaring brightly, technology screaming as it tried desperately to calculate a way to stop something it never should have faced. Superman did not hold back anything. One blow ended everything. When the body hit the ground, the sound echoed louder than any war had ever been. The world felt it somehow, even if people did not yet understand why. Superman stood there, breathing slowly and deliberately, staring at what he had done. He had killed a hero, not in blind anger, not by terrible accident, by conscious choice. Sirens began to wail somewhere in the distance. Cameras activated automatically. Satellites adjusted their positions. Somewhere far away, alarms screamed in rooms filled with people who had built their safety on the idea that Superman would never cross that line. They had been completely wrong. By morning, the truth had spread everywhere. The Avenger was dead. No villain to blame for it. No excuse to hide behind anymore. Just one fact burning across every screen on the planet. Superman had executed a hero. Fear spread faster than honesty ever could. Governments panicked behind closed doors. Heroes went silent across the world. Some condemned him publicly. Some disappeared entirely. Some began preparing quietly for a future where Superman was no longer a protector, but a threat that had finally proven their worst fears correct. Superman watched it all unfold from above the clouds. He felt no relief, no victory, only clarity about what he had become. They had already decided what he was. He had simply confirmed their darkest fears. And far beyond Earth, On worlds built specifically to break monsters and study survivors, systems began to activate. Prisons prepared for new arrivals. Buyers listened for opportunities. Experiments resumed with renewed purpose. Because if Superman could kill one hero without warning, then the universe would make absolutely sure he paid for it. The world did not wait patiently for answers. After the Avenger died, fear stopped pretending to be patience. Governments moved faster than truth could travel. Heroes stopped trusting each other overnight. Old alliances cracked without warning. Emergency laws were signed while innocent people slept. By sunrise, Superman was no longer called a protector in official language. He was labeled an uncontrolled risk. Superman heard every broadcast clearly. He listened to every word spoken about him, not because he feared them, but because he needed to understand how quickly trust could rot once blood touched the ground. They said he had crossed a line that could never be forgiven. They said no one should possess that kind of power. They said this was exactly why heroes needed strict control. Superman did not defend himself publicly. He did not explain his reasoning. Words had already failed everyone. What came next was not a fight. It was a carefully constructed plan. It started with an official invitation. A global council requested a meeting with him. Neutral ground selected carefully. Full transparency promised. No weapons allowed. No tricks permitted. They promised this was about preventing war between heroes and humanity. They promised safety for everyone, balance for the future, peace for the world. Superman knew immediately it was a lie, but he went anyway, because running would only prove their point about him, and because somewhere in the universe, heroes were still suffering for choices they never made. The chamber was buried deep underground. Lead-lined walls surrounded everything. Red light panels hid behind clean white glass. Technology designed not to defend anyone, but to contain something dangerous. Superman noticed everything the moment he entered. He always did. "You're afraid of me," he said quietly. No one answered him. They spoke about responsibility instead, about consequences for actions, about the Avenger who died. They asked why Superman believed he had the right to judge another hero. "I didn't judge him," Superman replied calmly. "I stopped him." The gas filled the room without any warning. Kryptonite particles flooded the air instantly. Red sun energy activated without delay. Pain tore through him like fire consuming everything. His strength vanished completely. His vision blurred badly. His knees hit the floor hard enough to crack the stone beneath him. Guards rushed in immediately. Chains snapped around his wrists tightly. Not symbolic restraints, real ones, built from alien alloys, soaked in deadly radiation, designed specifically to hold something that should never kneel. Cameras were already broadcasting live. The world watched as Superman collapsed. Some people cried openly. Some cheered with relief. Most said absolutely nothing. That silence hurt more than the chains ever could. They did not call it an arrest publicly. They called it containment. They did not call it exile officially. They called it necessary relocation. Superman was sealed inside a capsule layered with thick lead, kryptonite filters pumping poison into the air continuously, red sun radiation humming like a funeral song. As it launched into space, Earth felt lighter, somehow. Safer at last. They told themselves they had done the right thing. They were completely wrong. Time lost all meaning inside the coffin. Pain was constant and unrelenting. His body felt small for the first time since childhood. Not weak exactly, just limited, stripped of the certainty that power would always be there when he needed it most. Then came the impact. The capsule crashed into a world that did not welcome survivors. The door blew open violently. Red light burned across cracked soil. The sky was wrong in every way. The air burned his lungs with each breath. Gravity pressed down like punishment. Superman crawled out, shaking badly, bleeding freely, completely powerless. This was Predator Planet, a place where the universe sent what it could not control, a place built for experiments, entertainment, and death. He did not need explanations here. The scars around him told the story. Ruins of laboratories stretched everywhere. Broken cages littered the landscape. Bones fused with metal scattered across the ground. Weapons designed to test limits, not protect lives. And scattered across the land, survivors waited. Heroes, or what remained of them. Some recognized him instantly. Fear crossed their faces immediately. Not hope. You killed one of your own kind, someone whispered. Superman stood slowly despite his wounds. He sold you to this place. That revelation changed everything. Hunters came before answers could. Creatures bred to track power even when none remained. They moved fast and efficiently. Smarter than beasts. Deadlier than trained soldiers. Superman fought with fists, stone, and raw instinct. He bled heavily. He fell repeatedly. He stood again every time. He did not kill any of them. That confused the Watchers. On Predator Planet, mercy was considered weakness. Killing was established law. Survival demanded cruelty without exception. Superman broke that rule with every breath he took. They watched him carefully. A god without power. A killer who refused to kill again. A symbol they did not understand. Word spread fast across the world. The tyrants noticed him. High above, in fortresses built from the remains of failed legends, rulers observed the feeds. Superman was not supposed to survive. He was not supposed to inspire anyone. He was supposed to break completely. Instead, something worse was happening. Hope. Not loud hope. Not inspiring speeches. The dangerous kind. The kind that makes prisoners stand a little taller. The kind that makes fear hesitate before striking. He killed a hero, the tyrant said. He will kill again. They were wrong about him. Superman was done killing. And that decision would cost everyone dearly. Because Predator Planet does not forgive weakness. And it does not allow symbols to live for long. The hunters were released. And this time, they were not coming to test him. They were coming to erase him completely. Predator Planet did not attack all at once. That would have been a mercy. The hunters came in waves, timed perfectly to exhaustion rather than strength. Fast creatures came first, meant to drain him completely. Then heavier ones arrived, designed to crush bone. Always enough time between attacks for pain to settle, but never enough to heal properly. Superman learned quickly that this world studied suffering. He fought without powers, without rest, without certainty. His body became a map of bruises and cuts. Blood dried on his hands before it could be wiped away. Still, he stood between the hunters and the others. Not because he believed he could win, because if he stepped aside, someone else would die. They noticed his sacrifice. The survivors watched him take hits meant for them. Watched him fall and rise again. Watched him refuse to kill even when killing would have been easier. Confusion turned into something dangerous. Belief. On Predator Planet, belief got you killed. The tyrants decided to end the experiment. The cages were activated. Red sun towers flared brighter. Gravity increased. Pain sharpened. Superman collapsed as invisible pressure forced him to his knees. The survivors were dragged away, one by one, screaming as hunters pulled them toward the pits. A voice echoed across the sky. "You kill," it commanded. "They live." The message was perfectly clear. Superman looked at the creatures closing in, at the prisoners who had survived hell only to face it again, at the truth he could no longer deny. Mercy had limits. He killed the first hunter with his bare hands. The sound of its neck breaking was louder than he expected. Something inside him went quiet. The second died faster. The third tried to flee. He did not let it. Blood soaked into the red soil. The towers dimmed slightly. The gravity eased. The message was understood. Kill and the world softens. The survivors stared at him in horror. "You said you wouldn't," someone whispered. "I said I wouldn't choose killing," Superman replied. "They chose it for me." The tyrants were pleased. They had been right all along. Every legend broke eventually. All it took was leverage. Superman was taken, not chained, not drugged, displayed. The arena rose from the planet like a scar reopening. Ancient machines screamed as metal and bone fused together. Towers filled with spectators. Prisoners, warlords, scientists, buyers from distant systems. All watching the same thing, a fallen god. They called him the experiment that fought back. He was thrown into the arena without ceremony. No introduction, no explanation, just gates opening and creatures charging. Superman fought, not like before. He was faster, sharper, deadlier. Each kill made it easier. That terrified him more than the pain ever had. He stopped counting bodies, stopped looking at faces, focused only on survival. The crowd roared. They loved this version of him. Between battles, he was dragged back to a cell barely larger than a coffin. No light, no sound, just memories. The Avengers' face, the broken heroes, the first neck he had snapped on this world. He wondered when the line had moved. The next fight was worse. They released someone he recognized. A hero, broken, modified. Red Sun tech fused into flesh. Eyes empty, controlled. You know him, the tyrant said, watching from above. Kill him or we kill 10 others. Superman froze. The hero attacked without mercy. Every blow carried pain and recognition. Superman blocked, dodged, refused to strike back fully. The tyrant laughed. The survivors screamed. Superman ended it with one final blow. When the body fell, something shattered inside him completely. He won. They applauded. That night, the survivors did not look at him the same way. Fear replaced belief. Distance replaced hope. Superman understood then. Killing had saved them. It had also destroyed what made him different. The red sun flickered. Not by accident. Power stirred beneath the pain. Not fully, not enough to fly, but enough to heal faster, enough to hit harder, enough to frighten the tyrants. He's adapting, one whispered. No, another replied. He's becoming what we wanted. Superman felt it too. The strength returning was not clean. It was fed by violence, conditioned by survival. The planet was reshaping him the same way it reshaped everything else. That terrified him, because if he became their monster, then Earth had been right to fear him. The final test was announced. One last fight, not for survival, for proof. If Superman killed again, fully and willingly, he would be unleashed as a weapon across the universe. If he refused, the survivors would die screaming on live feed. Superman stood alone in the arena as the gates opened. This time, he did not know which choice would destroy him faster. The gates opened slowly, not to release a monster, but to make the moment last. The crowd leaned forward. The tyrants watched without blinking. Across the arena floor, chains rattled as something large dragged itself into the light. Superman did not recognize the creature at first. Then it lifted its head. It was one of the survivors, not broken by accident, broken on purpose. Red Sun technology burned into flesh, bones reinforced, eyes empty, not from pain, but from control. This was not a test of strength. It was a test of obedience. Kill him, the voice echoed, or they all die. Superman looked toward the holding cages above the arena. Prisoners pressed against energy fields, fear written across every face. Heroes, survivors, people who had trusted him. This was the choice. If he killed, they lived. If he refused, they died. Superman stepped forward. The controlled survivor charged without hesitation. Faster than before. Stronger than anything he had faced on this planet. Every blow landed with precision designed by scientists who understood pain better than mercy. Superman took the hits. Bone cracked. Blood ran into his eyes. Still, he refused to strike back fully. Stop, he said. Fight it. There was no response. The crowd began to shout. Anger replaced excitement. They wanted blood. They wanted confirmation that even gods could be turned into weapons. The tyrant rose from his throne. You think mercy makes you strong, he boomed. It makes you predictable. The survivor lunged again. Something inside Superman snapped. Not rage, clarity. He stopped running. He caught the next blow. The arena shook. Superman held the survivor in place, muscles screaming, power surging weakly against the Red Sun's grip. He leaned close. "I'm sorry," he whispered. He did not kill him. He tore the control core from the survivor's chest. The body collapsed. Alive. Free. Silence fell. The tyrant stared in disbelief. Superman turned. "If you want me to be your monster," he said, voice carrying across the arena, "you should have made sure I had no choice left." The red sun flickered violently. Power surged through him like breath after drowning. Not full strength. Not godhood. Something balanced. Something earned. The tyrant roared. Hunters flooded the arena. Dozens. Then hundreds. Superman moved. This time, he did not hesitate. But he did not kill. He disabled. He shattered weapons. He broke armor. He turned momentum into collapse. Every movement was precise, controlled, refusing the planet's rules openly. The crowd panicked. Prisoners surged forward. Chains broke. Energy fields failed. The system that thrived on fear began to unravel. The tyrant descended into the arena himself. Massive, armored, ancient. "You could have ruled," the tyrant snarled. "You chose weakness." Superman stood tall. "I chose responsibility." They clashed. The ground cracked beneath their blows. Superman was thrown through pillars, slammed into walls, buried under debris. Each time, he stood again. The tyrant struck to kill. Superman struck to stop. The red sun dimmed further. Above them, ancient machines screamed as systems overloaded. The prison world was never meant to sustain hope. It was built on fear, and fear was failing. With one final effort, Superman pinned the tyrant to the ground. The crowd watched in stunned silence. "End it," someone screamed. Superman released him. The tyrant laughed in disbelief. Then the arena began to collapse. Superman turned away. He flew straight into the heart of the control spire. He tore through metal and bone, ripping out the core that powered the Red Sun towers. Energy erupted. The sky cracked open. True light poured through. Gravity softened. The air cleared. The planet screamed. Superman fell to one knee as power stabilized within him. Not absolute. Not unchecked. Enough. The prisoner stared. For the first time, Predator Planet was quiet. Superman rose slowly. "This world doesn't need another ruler," he said. "It needs a choice." He turned away as survivors stepped into the light. Behind him, the tyrant screamed as his empire collapsed. Superman did not look back. He left the planet burning, not from destruction, but from change. And Earth felt it. Earth felt him before it saw him. Satellites shifted. Defense systems woke from sleep. Old warnings screamed through rooms full of people who had once believed chains were enough. Screens lit up across the world with a single image. Superman was coming home. Missiles were armed but not fired. Fighters launched but kept their distance. Leaders argued. Some demanded retaliation. Some begged for mercy. All of them knew the truth they refused to say out loud. If he wanted Earth gone, it already would be. Superman did not slow down. He did not dodge. He did not threaten. He landed in the center of the United Nations Plaza. No armor. No anger. No chains. Soldiers raised weapons with shaking hands. Cameras hovered. The world held its breath. Superman looked older somehow. Not weaker. Heavier. Like someone who had carried too many choices and survived them all. "You were afraid," he said calmly. "I understand that." No one spoke. "You made a system that sold heroes," he continued. "You called it safety. You called it balance. You never called it what it was." Silence cracked under the weight of truth. "I killed one of my own," Superman said. "Not because I wanted to. Because I believed stopping him would end it." He paused. It didn't. The crowd shifted uncomfortably. Leaders avoided his eyes. "I won't pretend my hands are clean," he said. "Blood doesn't disappear just because the reason sounded right." That admission shook them more than anger ever could. "I was sent to a world built to break monsters," Superman continued. "A place where fear ruled and mercy was punished. I survived it. Others didn't. Images appeared on screens behind him. Predator Planet, the cages, the arena, the survivors standing in light for the first time. You made that world possible, he said quietly. A representative stepped forward, voice trembling. You could destroy us. You've proven that. Superman nodded. Yes. The word landed like thunder. I could rule you, judge you, end you, he said. That's what fear expects me to do. He stepped back. I won't. Confusion rippled through the crowd. I'm done being your weapon, Superman said. I'm done being your god, and I will never be your executioner again. He looked up at the sky. If you need help, I'll come, he said. If you choose fear, I'll stay away. This world doesn't grow if it hides behind me. He lifted into the air. No cheers followed. No applause. Just silence. Days passed. Then disaster struck. An earthquake tore through the Pacific. A reactor failure threatened millions. A storm grew faster than models predicted. Superman did not appear. People waited. Then something changed. Rescue teams moved without hesitation. Countries shared resources without conditions. Heroes worked together instead of looking to the sky. People saved each other. When hope began to fail, when the storm reached the breaking point, Superman arrived. Not above them, with them. He lifted debris alongside rescue workers, pulled survivors from rubble with shaking hands. He stayed until the work was done. Then he left. Months passed. Superman no longer hovered like a warning. He walked streets. He listened more than he spoke. He helped quietly. Sometimes he did not help at all. And the world learned something dangerous and necessary. They could survive without chains. They could choose without fear. Far from Earth, Predator Planet rebuilt itself. Not as a prison, not as a throne, as a place where survivors decided their own future. Superman never ruled them. He never returned. High above Earth, a faint mark remained in the atmosphere. A scar where he had once been sent away in chains. Not a warning, a reminder. A hero was feared. A god was tested. A killer was expected. But what returned was something harder to control. A choice. And that was the most powerful thing Superman had ever become.